Step lightly on the marble traveler. The dust of 1,000 scrolls is the only thing that remembers the noise of the day here. The Library of Celsus, Part 1, the entrance. The great doors are open for you tonight. They were always open for you. 2 wings of carved marble, each as tall as 10 men standing upon one another's shoulders, swing without sound in the midnight air. You did not push them. They knew you were coming. Ancient stone remembers what the mind forgets, that you belong here, that you have always belonged in a place of deep and gathered silence. Step across the threshold. Feel the marble beneath your feet cool, smooth, worn by 10,000 souls who walked before you and 10,000 who will walk long after. That coolness travels up through the soles of your feet, moving slowly through your ankles, climbing through your calves like cold water rising in a still well. It is not cold enough to disturb you. It is exactly cold enough to quiet you. Breathe the air now. There is no air in all the world quite like this air. It carries papiers, old papiers, dried for centuries, holding inside its pale fibers the breath of men and women who pressed reed to its surface and wrote down everything they could not bear to lose. It carries dust, not the dust of neglect, but the dust of accumulation, the soft gray powder of years settling gently upon years, layer upon layer, like snow that never melts. It carries something else beneath all of that, something older still, something that has no name in any language stored within these walls, the scent of silence that has been kept so long it has become its own living thing. Stand still for a moment. Do not rush deeper into the library yet. Let your eyes adjust to the light. The light here is candlelight. Dozens of small oil lamps burn in alcoves cut into the marble walls, each flame a tiny amber tongue, each tongue barely moving, as though even the flames have learned to be still in this place. Their glow falls upon the stone floor in overlapping circles of golden shadow, and where those circles touch one another they blur into a soft amber haze, like the last light of an autumn evening seen through closed eyes. Look up. The ceiling vaults above you in a great arch, higher than you expected, higher than seems possible, rising into a darkness that the candlelight cannot reach. Up there, in that velvet dark above the arches, there is a stillness so complete that you can almost hear it pressing gently downward, like a hand laid softly on a sleeping forehead. Your shoulders drop. Perhaps you did not know they were raised. They often are when we carry the day with us. But in this place, the day cannot follow. The day does not know this address. The day has no scroll in this library, no shelf assigned, no alcove, no lamp burning in its nave. Only the night lives here. Only the ancient, patient night. Take one step forward, then another. The marble makes no sound beneath you. You move like ink through water slowly, darkening the silence around you rather than breaking it, spreading into the space the way thought spreads into a quiet mind just before sleep takes it. You are inside now. You are fully inside. And the great doors behind you close, not with a crash, not with a boom of stone and weight, with a sigh, a long, low, contented sigh, as though the library itself has been waiting all day for this moment. The moment when the last visitor arrives, the moment when the doors may finally be closed, and the true night may begin, and the scrolls may breathe again in their accustomed silence. Part to the sanctuary before you stretches the heart of the library. Pause here. Let your gaze travel slowly, without hurrying, without grasping. Simply receive what is here. The shelves rise on every side above you, beside you, before you stone niches cut into the walls 3 stories high, and within each niche, resting in shadow, bound in leather and sealed with wax the color of dried blood, are the scrolls. Hundreds of them, thousands of them, more than you could count in a single night, more than you could count in a single lifetime, row upon row upon row, curving around you in great embracing tiers, climbing toward that unreachable dark above. Walk forward slowly. Come close to the shelves, close enough to see the individual scrolls, to notice the differences between them. This one pale ivory, its edges faintly gilded, that one dark with age, the leather of its case cracked like an old riverbed in summer, another one wrapped in cloth the color of sea water, a single knot of cord holding it closed, patient, waiting. Each scroll is a life. Understand this as you stand before them. Not a record of a life, not a description of a life. The life itself, the full weight and length and color of it, compressed into this cylinder of papiers, sealed inside this darkness, resting on this shelf of stone. Every thought the person carried, every sorrow they turned over in their hands late at night when they could not sleep. Every morning they woken for one single heartbeat, did not remember what was wrong, and then remembered. Every meal shared across a wooden table with someone beloved. Every moment of standing at a window watching rain. All of it is here. All of them are resting now. Run your fingers gently, so gently, along the edge of one shelf. Feel the stone, cool and slightly rough, the texture of something that has held an enormous weight for centuries and will continue holding it long after you and I have joined the silence. The stone does not strain under this weight. The stone is not tired. The stone simply holds, because holding is what stone knows how to do. And stone requires nothing in return for this service. Move deeper into the library. The shelves close around you like a forest of stone and parchment. The candlelight shifts and sways just faintly as you pass, each small flame acknowledging your presence, nodding its amber head, returning to stillness. Listen. Beyond your own soft breathing, there is nothing. And within that nothing, within the core of that absolute, velvety, gathered silence, there is something else. A kind of presence, not threatening, not strange, as familiar as a room you knew in childhood, a room you have not thought about in years, a room that existed in some deeper layer of memory beneath all the busy architecture of your daily mind. The presence is this: all those lives resting. All those lives that burned and ached and ran and reached and fell and rose and loved and lost, now resting on their stone shelves in their leather cases in the soft timbered ark. They are not suffering. They are not waiting to be read. They simply are, as a river simply is, even when no one walks along its bank, as the stars simply are, even behind the clouds, as the marble floor beneath your feet simply is, asking nothing, holding everything. Find a low stone bench between two shelves. It has always been there. It was placed there for exactly this purpose, in exactly this hour, for exactly this kind of visitor, the one who arrives at midnight, carrying more than they realize, in need of exactly this: a place to sit, surrounded by the accumulated silence of 10,000 resting lives, in the gentle breathing light of oil lamps that have been burning longer than memory. Sit down. Feel the bench receive your weight without complaint. Feel the cool stone come up into your body like water into cloth, slowly, thoroughly, spreading outward from the place of contact into your hips, your lower back, your spine, each vertebra receiving the coolness, unclenching slightly, settling, the way a row of stones settles into sand when the tide pulls back. Your hands rest in your lap. Your eyes grow soft. Above you, the tiers of scrolls rise toward the dark. All those lives, breathing quietly. All that silence holding you. Part 3: The lesson. I am here beside you now. I have always been beside you in this place. I am the librarian, old enough to have watched empires rise and fall like the tides of the inland sea, old enough to have received the scrolls of kings and beggars, philosophers and fishermen, and placed each one upon its shelf with the same unhurried care. I speak quietly. There is no other way to speak in a library at midnight. What I tell you now is not new. It was not new when this library was built. It was not new when the cedars were felled to make the shelves, when the marble was cut and dressed and raised. The lesson I bring you tonight was already ancient when the first lamp was lit in this room, already worn smooth with use, like a stone step worn hollow by 10,000 feet, laying toward me slightly unlisten. Knowledge is knowing what to hold and what to burn. Let those words fall through you slowly, like dust through still air. Do not catch them. Do not turn them over and examine them too quickly. Let them settle. You have come here tonight carrying scrolls. Not the scrolls on these shelves, those have been laid down. I mean the scrolls you carry inside your own chest, rolled tightly, bound with cords of habit and repetition, carried from morning to night and into the dark hours without ever being examined. Thought scrolls, worry scrolls. The scroll of the conversation you replayed 17 times and still could not resolve. The scroll of the thing you should have said, or should not have said, or might yet have to say. The scroll of tomorrow's uncertainties, written in a shaking hand. The scroll of the old wound you open and read again and again, as though reading it one more time might change the ending. You know the ones. You have been carrying them a long time. Now hold one of them, any one, gently in your mind's hands. Feel its weight. It is heavier than it should be for something made only of thought. It has collected moisture from years of handling, years of rolling out and rolling up again, and the papyrus has grown soft at the edges, fragile, prone to tearing. Look at it. What does it contain? Perhaps it is a worry about something that has not yet happened, a fear dressed as a prophecy, a disaster that lies entirely in the architecture of possibility and has not touched the actual world. Perhaps it is an old regret, a decision made long ago in a different room, by a version of yourself who did not yet know what you know now. A decision that cannot be unmade, only carried or set down. Perhaps it is an expectation, a vision of how something should have been, pressed into papers with such force that the actual shape of things now seems like error rather than simply difference. The Stoics who visited this librarian, they came often. The old men with their plain cloaks and their quiet eyes, they knew something about scrolls. They knew that a library must be curated. Not every scroll deserves a shelf. There is wisdom worth preserving, the mathematical certainties, the observations of the natural world, the hard-won understandings of how to live with courage and simplicity and grace. These scrolls are worth keeping. These scrolls earn their dust. But then there are the others, the ones written in panic at midnight when the mind was not yet trained, the ones written by the part of us that mistakes noise for significance, that mistakes repetition for truth, that keeps a scroll not because it contains wisdom, but because letting go of it feels like letting go of it feels like letting go of something real, when in fact, the scroll itself is the only thing making it real, and without the scroll, the thing it describes would simply dissolve, quietly, like salt in warm water. These scrolls the ancient librarians taught us deserve not a shelf, but a flame, not with violence, not with anger, not with the dramatic pyre of someone who has decided to feel something loudly, with the quiet flame of a single candle, with the gentleness of someone releasing a bird from an open palm. The fingers UNCURL. The grip softens, the wing moves, and the thing is gone. And the hand is empty, and the empty hand is lighter than your remembered hands could be. Take that scroll you are holding in your mind. Look at it once more without judgment, without shame, without the need to fully understand every word it contains. It served a purpose. It brought you here. Whatever it was, the worry, the wound, the weight, it was real enough to carry. and you carried it faithfully, and you were not wrong to carry it. But tonight, in this library, in this silence at this hour, you may set it down. Simply set it down. Place it on the marble floor beside the bench, gently, without ceremony, the way you set down a heavy satchel when you arrive home and finally close the door behind you, not throwing it, not slamming it, simply releasing it from your hands, feeling the strain leave your fingers, your wrists, your forearms, your shoulders, your neck. Set it down, breathe, and notice what remains. What remains is you lighter, simpler, exactly the same and entirely changed. The way a room is exactly the same and entirely changed when someone opens a window in the stale. Air moves out and the night air moves in. If there are other scrolls, set them down one at a time. There is no rush. There is no quota. You do not need to empty yourself entirely tonight. Even one is enough. Even the smallest release is a real release. Even one unclenched finger is the beginning of an open hand. The marble floor holds whatever you place upon it without judgment. The silence holds whatever you release into it without condition. The ancient dark absorbs and dissolves what the bright day could not. This is why libraries exist at midnight. This is what the stone remembers. Part for the deep rest. The candles are beginning to tire. Watch the one closest to you, the small flame in the stone alcove just above the nearest shelf. Watch how it burns, how it has always burned, steadily and without urgency, consuming itself without complaint, giving its light freely to the darkness around it, undasking nothing of the darkness in return. It dips, just slightly, just once. The flame leans to one side as though listening to something very soft. Then it straightens. Then it dips again. The wax beneath it is nearly spent. It has given everything it had to give tonight. The small obedient flame, and now it is preparing to rest. You breathe in. The flame steadies. You breathe out. The flame dips again, lower this time, burning close to the stone. The amber light contracting, the circle of gold on the floor shrinking slowly inward. And then without drama, without sound, without announcement, the flame is gone. A thread of smoke rises from the wick, a pale ghost of the flame, curling upward toward the dark with surprising grace. Thinning as it rises, thinning until it is nothing, until even the ghost is gone, until the alcove is simply stone, simply dark, simply still. The light in the library changes. It does not go dark. Other candles still burn, further along the walls, further up the tiers, small amber points of warmth in the great soft dark. But the light is dimmer now, gentler, more diffuse, the shadows deeper and softer and more welcoming than before. Your eyes grow heavy, not with effort, not with resistance, with invitation. The heaviness in your eyelids is not a failure of wakefulness. It is the body's oldest intelligence speaking its oldest language, the language of permission, the language of release, the language that says the day has been carried long enough. The weight has been carried long enough. The watching and the warding and the wondering have been faithfully performed. And now they may be set upon a shelf, sealed in their leather cases, resting in their stone alcoves. Now it is time for the librarian and you to close the doors. Let your breathing deepen. Let it slow. You do not need to guide it. Breathing has been finding its own depth and rhythm since the first breath you ever drew, long before you knew what breath was, long before you had words for any of it. Trust it now. Let it do what it has always known how to do. In undoubt. In the deep slow rhythm of a library at rest. Another candle gutters, far across the room in an alcove high on the second tier. A small flame leans and recovers and leans again and does not recover this time. Another thread of smoke, another ghost rising, another darkness spreading softly outward. A dark that is not absence but presence of rest, of completion, of the satisfying closure of a scroll that has been fully read and gently rolled and carefully placed upon its shelf. The marble statues stand in their corners. They have stood here longer than the scrolls, longer than the library itself in its current form. The great stone figures with their blank pale eyes and their expressions of absolute tranquility, worn by centuries of silent watching into something beyond emotion, beyond opinion, into a kind of permanent, luminous equanimity. They are not cold, not the way you might expect stone to be cold. They are the temperature of rooms that have held many people over many centuries, warmed not by fire, but by the accumulated warmth of all those who have passed through, all those who paused here, all those who paused here, all those who sat on this bench, or one like it and breathed this air and felt, for a moment, the great weight of their living become briefly, beautifully light. Come and lie among them now. Not literally, not in the physical cold of marble, but in the way that the body lies down in the imagination when it is ready for sleep, when it gives itself over to the deeper architecture of the night and finds within that architecture a place that fits the exact shape of its exhaustion. Imagine your body lengthening, stretching out slowly along the cool, smooth floor of the library. The marble beneath you as yielding as water, as perfect as the deepest sleep, your spine uncurling vertebra, from the crown of your head to the base of your tailbone, each bone finding its natural rest, each muscle releasing its long-held tension into the stone beneath you. Your arms lie at your sides. Your hands are open, empty. The scrolls you carried are on their shelves now, or on the floor, or given to the flame. It does not matter which. What matters is that your hands are open, and open hands cannot grip, and what cannot be gripped cannot weigh, and what does not weigh cannot keep you from the shore of sleep that is rising toward you now like a tide. Another candle, guttering, leaning, gone. The darkness deepens. Not the darkness of threat or emptiness, the darkness of the inside of a shell, the darkness of deep earth, the darkness between stars that is not void but substance, the substance of the universe's own immeasurable rest. This darkness has weight. It has texture. It settles over you the way a wool cloak settles over sleeping shoulders, heavy enough to comfort, warm enough to slow the blood, complete enough to close out everything that does not belong in this hour. The scrolls breathe on their shelves, 10,000 lives resting in silence, 10,000 lives that burned as fiercely as you have burned, that worried as genuinely as you have worried, that carried as faithfully as you have carried, and all of them are resting now. All of them have found this place, this silence, this merciful dark where the lamp of the day no longer reaches. You are among them now, not in death, not in anything resembling death, but in the great democracy of rest that holds the living and the remembered equally in its soft, dark hands. Your thoughts come more slowly. Notice that. The thoughts that were a river are becoming a stream, and the stream is becoming a still pool, and the still pool is darkening at the surface as the last of the reflected lamplight fades. And beneath the surface of the pool, it is already perfectly, completely, mercifully dark. A single candle remains. Somewhere above you, high on the third tier, in an alcove carved close to the invisible ceiling, one flame still burns. You cannot quite see it. You can only see its effect, a faint amber warmth that falls from above like the memory of light rather than light itself, touching the tops of the shelves, touching the dust that drifts between them, touching nothing sharply, touching everything softly. It is the oldest candle. It has burned here longer than the others. It does not burn brightly, it burned brightly once, in its early hours, when the wick was long and the wax was deep. Now it burns in the manner of things that have burned long and true and are approaching their completion with grace, quietly, steadily, without diminishment of purpose, without regret for the brightness that was and is no longer. Watch it, somewhere above you in the amber dark. Watch it with the soft eyes of someone who has put down everything that needed to be put down and has nothing left to do but rest. Your breath is slow. Your heartbeat is slow. The marble beneath you holds your weight with the same ancient patience it has held the weight of 10,000 travelers before you, the seekers who came here in their restlessness and found their stillness, the scribes who came here in their certainty and found their questions, the mourners who came here in their grief and found, not answers, not relief, but something more lasting than either, the understanding that all things rest in time. All things come to this library eventually. All things find their shelf. All things grow quiet in the long, patient dark. you are growing quiet now. The last candle dips, the amber warmth above contracts. The darkness deepens by one shade, just one. Just barely perceptible, just enough to feel rather than see. Just enough to know without knowing that the light is going, almost gone. The statues stand in their corners. The scrolls breathe on their shelves. The dust settles through the still air. The marble holds you. The silence holds you. Let it hold you now. Let go of the library itself, the shelves, the scrolls, the stone, the dust. Let the image dissolve gently, the way ink dissolves in water, losing its edges, losing its definition, becoming part of the medium rather than separate from it. Let the amber light dissolve. Let the sound of my voice dissolve. Let everything dissolve into the dark that has been waiting for you patiently, all night, all your life, with the absolute and ancient patience of stone, with the absolute and ancient silence of midnight, with the absolute and ancient peace of every flame that has ever burned itself down to the end of its wick and gone gently, 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 gently out. The last candle is gone. Darkness, complete, warm vest, yours. Sleep now, sleep. The library keeps watch. The stone remembers rest.